think Vince McMahon voted for?
I wonder.
Donald Trump. That's pretty clear.
Bernie Sanders, write-in. For sure.
When I see Bernie Sanders fucking do a backflip off the turnbuckle and pin RoboCop, then I'll know that he's ready to be president.
Yeah, well, isn't he going to be in the next Soul Calibur?
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
Oh,
He's gonna fight Yoda.
It's not fair that 1% gets 99% of the Soul Edge sword.
If you have 99% health, he can take all your health and then redistribute it to himself.
Dude, the last time that I played Soul Calibur, I did made a custom creation, and just for shits and giggles, I made Danzig.
Nice. Of course you did.
Well, here's the greatest thing about my Danzig was that he was so goddamn short that anybody's regular horizontal attack would literally go over his fucking head.
It's the odd job maneuver.
Yeah, exactly.
I always just like playing Valdo and like treating it like I was like challenging somebody's views on the world, you know?
Oh yeah, Voldo is constantly challenging everyone. He's just like, "Does this freak you out, man?"
Yeah. I had to tell Jerry's a big Soul Calibur guy.
Really?
I think I played it on an arcade cabinet a couple of times.
More of a dead or alive man. Like
the jiggle physics.
I want to see them titties bouncing dead or alive.
Yeah.
Only played it at the. I wanted to say dodgeball, volleyball.
Oh, God, that's right. I forgot there was a DOA volleyball.
I had a friend who had the first one. It was great. It got kind of hard. Like, you'd play it, and I'd be like, the girls keep beating me, and you could dress them up however you like.
Right. Yeah, he's talking specifically about his penis.
Okay. Jamie goes, ew.
Hey, everybody, welcome to History Boys. I am Tyler Armentrout. I'm a history boy.
I'm Chris Wheaton. Just a regular old history boy.
Zach Meck, a bit of a hungover history boy,
Nice.
but a history boy nonetheless.
And I'm Jerry Nash, also a history boy.
Yeah, how come this looks like a liquor that we're about to talk about? I'm feeling nauseous. Just staring at this.
Today we're talking about Nicolae Ceausescu.
It's a great vodka.
It's no. I feel like it's not a vodka. It's what you float on top of the cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not one of those blue syrupy shits, right?
Yeah. Like triple sec or like Curacao or.
Yes.
I thought it sounded like a really rich white lady's little dog.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So Nicolae Ceausescu was the authoritarian, communist, nationalistic dictator of Romania, who ruled with an iron fist for 25 years, from 1967 to 1989.
Your birthday.
Sounds like a bit of a pud.
My birthday is the whole year.
Birth year.
Birth year. Yeah.
He was like, you know what would make this summer of love even better? If I ran things with an iron fist for the next 20 years.
I think it was Mr. Bungle that said, "Love is a fist."
Yeah.
Sure. Under his tyranny, Romania suffered a failing economy, a humanitarian crisis, and a paranoid, starving, poor populace. And like many dictators, he surrounded himself with sycophants and relished in building a cult of personality. But the way Ted Koppel described it in 1990 kind of summed it up. Quote, Ceausescu's Romania was a madhouse, where the lunatics were running the asylum and the inmates were punished for their sanity.
So this doesn't sound familiar at all.
Right?
Why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
We're highlighting how Ted Koppel's part of the lying fake news leftist media.
Yeah. More like Ted Cabal.
I was about to say.
Does all of you want to say that? I just slid it in there.
Oh, that's perfect. The alley-oop.
Now, Nicolae Ceausescu was born on January 26th, 1918, in the small town of Scornașeschi, Romania, to a family of modest shepherds, one of 9 children.
It's too many.
It's a lot of kids.
A lot of fucking
Was he
whining.
right? Was he smack dab in the middle, or was he on one of the ends? Was he?
Oh, he was right smack in the middle.
Okay.
A forgotten child.
Yeah, he had that middle child syndrome for sure.
Children are the opposite of bread. The ones on the end are the best ones, and the ones in the middle are the ones that you care the least about.
His father, Andrucha, a tailor, was fanatically religious, and he was a massive alcoholic. And it is reported that he beat his wife and children for anything, any old thing.
Can I counter that with, we don't know what his wife and kids were doing to piss him off so much?
Yes.
That's fucked up.
They could have been talking shit.
And
Maybe they were bullying him, and he was just fighting back.
He's outnumbered 10-1.
He had to really, learn to know those combo moves, you know?
Oh, and
Right.
not to mention the endurance to work his way through all those kids and his wife.
Kids have a lot of energy. They don't hit hard, but once you got 10 of them on top of you, trying to take you down.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to have
Then
a
it
family...
looks impressive.
Yeah, well, that's what... I mean, you got to start your family when you're younger so you have the energy to abuse all those kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine if I was on kid 10 now at 36 years old. Come on, man. I'm not going to... How are you going to keep up with that, you know?
Well, keep in mind too, at that time in Romania, life was Battletoads hard.
Yeah.
So of course,
true.
beating your
That is
kids
true.
is going to be Battletoads tough.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
Well,
actually a great analogy because the more of them on your side, the harder it is because you all have the same number of lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, all they had was, one sheep for, milk and...
Oh, who gets to
And,
suck the sheep
wool.
today?
How do you think milking works, Chris?
I'm saying they didn't have time. There's not, you go straight to the source. You know they thought that too. They're like, fuck, Nicolae's out there and he's already sucked the sheep dry. I'm gonna beat his ass.
Well, not to mention, who's going to do all those dishes? You're going to milk the sheep and pour it into 10 glasses that are just going to be smashed over the kids' heads by the end of the day anyway? Just wheeze the juice, man.
Yeah. Nah, I agree.
It was even said that Andrucha was so drunk when Nicolae was born that he forgot that he already had a son named Nicolae and named him that.
Nicolae, that's fantastic. That's not. I got nothing funny to say about that. That is in itself tragically hilarious.
Yes. Yes, it is.
He's like, but father, I'm already Nicola. And he's like...
You sure grew up fast.
How long was I asleep for?
It's like, what day is it? The bar, it would turn out, was across the street from their home. And Andrucha would go drink, he would run up a giant tab, and then wait for the barkeeper, the barkeep to leave, so he could break in and then destroy his tab.
This guy is
This
a
is something
fucking
he actually
genius.
did.
This guy's a genius. This is
idea.
awesome. Fuck.
Did he only destroy his tab?
I think he destroyed all the tabs to his,
Okay.
I guess, to
So
his
he's a bit of a
credit.
Robin Hood style character.
Yeah.
I think we should do a story about him.
So he was chaotic good.
Yeah, chaotic good.
I love it.
he
As
was...
are most people who beat their children.
Yeah, he beat the
Yes.
fuck out of his wife and children. He was not a good person by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I mean, when you're that fucking drunk every day, you're gonna be a whirling dervish of fucking mean.
I don't think I'm a mean drunk. I think I'm a pretty nice drunk.
Do you get Nicolae's fucking dad drunk, though, every
Yeah.
goddamn day?
No.
You would if you
Okay.
had 10 kids.
You
I would
exactly.
be. That's true. That's a good point. I would be angry if I had
That's
10 kids. for
one
some
more
reason.
than he had. I fucked it up.
Wrap it up, man. Wrap it up.
So as a young boy, Nicolae was regarded as a very bright boy, although he was a bit of a loner. He hung out with himself, he didn't really have friends, but he was really smart.
He's a bit of a history boy. I'm just kidding. None of us are smart.
Some who knew him even said later that they weren't sure if he even had any friends ever throughout his entire life.
No, like Donald
That's
Trump.
fucking sad.
Yeah,
Did you listen to music?
probably not.
Oh,
No.
God.
Like Donald Trump.
When he was only 11, Nicolae ran away from home to Bucharest to live with his older sister, Niculina, I believe is how it's pronounced.
I'll give it to you.
There he became a cobbler's apprentice.
Oh my god.
Although
Like a
he
peach?
seems like he totally sucked at it. Or he could just never master it.
Being a cobbler's apprentice, I feel like that's a profession for that time and that place.
Yeah.
Unless you're Daniel Day-Lewis.
I think being a cobbler was an honest trade back then.
Yeah, it was a little
Yeah.
too honest. That's my problem with it.
It's being a hardworking person with hands
Just be a
that look
fence
like
or something. Something cool.
A fencer or a fence?
Fence.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Fences are cool. Fencers.
Fences are cool. Out of context, you're like, that's not that cool. Chain link? What?
The cobbler, however, was a member of the illegal Communist Party.
Cool.
That's
we got
Passed
there.
on such dogma to the impressionable Nicolae. Nicolae became a member of the Romanian Communist Youth Movement, and he was arrested several times.
Oh, he's Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, right. Once he was arrested for street fighting during a demonstration, and another for distributing communist material, like flyers and pamphlets and
That's
stuff.
how you get a tear gas canister to the face.
Yeah, I know, right?
True.
The materials were just pictures of naked women with their genitals covered up by hammers and sickles.
Yeah,
I would read that
communist-
pamphlet.
Yeah. They charged him with being a dangerous communist agitator. And they tossed him in prison for 2 years, with an added 6 months for contempt of court, or, what more likely was making obscene gestures to the judge.
Showed him his ass.
Which is kind of dope.
Yeah.
I know where this is going, but right now this guy sounds badass.
I know.
Yeah. I
They
agree.
all
I know I'm not going to like him later.
Yeah,
I know.
they all, like, there's a lot of people that start kind of cool and then end.
Most of these stories you tell us, we're like, this guy sounds rad. And you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, just wait till he kills a bunch of native people. And you're like, God damn it.
Jerry, why do you have to set us up like this? Like, we look like fools.
You gotta know all of history, not just cherry-picked parts of it.
I think the looking like fools thing is something we do on our own pretty good.
You're absolutely right.
So young Nicolae went to a prison called Doftana, which was regarded as kind of the Romanian Bastille, where the treatment of prisoners was so harsh that he developed a lifelong stammer that he would try to hide or cover up for the rest of his life.
Not to mention a lifelong hatred of gulags.
Wasn't quite a gulag. Again, this is Romania. It's a little different.
Was it more of an oubliette?
No. Because people still got out.
Okay.
Oubliettes, like the Bastille was like a big oubliette. You know?
Yeah.
This was on par with that. But people still got out. Romania at this time was still a monarchy.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Well, and you want to give him just enough hope so when you crush it,
Yeah.
you know you got it.
Yeah. And
Naturally.
he went there all the time. He went there several times. So there, it was at this prison that he met his friend and future communist dictator of Romania, Gheorghe Gheorghiu.
That's
Which
a
is-
fucking mouthful.
I practiced, and I think I nailed it, but we'll see.
I was going to accuse you of practicing that.
Yeah, I practiced that
And you
one.
just straight out admitted it.
Yeah. And Gheorghiu helped instill the already strong communist ideals into Nicolae. You know, he really kind of like schooled him and taught him about all of the communist ideals and whatnot.
Cut all the fingers off his gloves for him. At least the first pair.
Carrying around a
wear a
boombox,
certain
talked
kind of
about how nobody gets private property.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, there's that, and then here's your newsy hat. You got to share it with like 5 other guys. I'm gonna cut all the fingers off your gloves. Teach you how to make a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
It's not as delicious as it sounds.
During a brief period outside of prison, 21-year-old Nicolae met a semi-literate woman named Elena Petrescu at a dance.
At this point, women being semi-literate, was that above?
Well,
like on the more literate end as far as women were, or?
It kind of depended on your upbringing, like whether or not you were born poor or.
I guess what I'm asking is, did they actively try to keep women from learning to read, or is it just that she was poor, or if people were poor, or?
I mean, they discouraged women from doing anything outside of the home. Yeah. Although she quit school after a rudimentary elementary school education.
Okay.
To go work in a textile factory, actually.
Okay. So they're both Billy Joel in this scenario. Neither of them are uptown girls.
They're Brenda and Eddie.
Yeah. And yeah, people said of Nicolae, as a young man, that he was definitely a country boy through and through. You know.
Okay.
The bumpkin.
Yeah. Yeah, Lena also, she came from a poor family, and she liked the fact that Nicolae was pretty well connected in, the new growing, communist movement, and she kind of saw a glimmer of upward mobility in him.
Oh yeah, she's moving on up.
Yeah. she glommed onto him after that. He told her, though, as they danced that night, that one day he would make her Queen of Romania. And Elena was the only woman he was ever romantically involved with, ever.
Oh,
he originally said that just so that he can get into her pants later on that night.
He's like, now I gotta do it, because you're not supposed to lie to a woman.
Yeah. Well, and specifically, he said, I will teach you how to read if you teach me how to love. And, and she took him up on that offer by the sound of things.
I smell montage in there.
Yeah.
Now, Romania's history is long, and it's rich, and it's extremely complicated and confusing. It's absolutely fascinating. But I don't have time to kind of go into all the minutiae, so bear with me for a second as I kind of walk you through this, just so you know where Romania is at, and what kind of world Nicolae Ceausescu is walking into. So now, as World War I dawns, Romania was neutral for the first 2 years of the First World War. But then they entered on the Allied side of the powers, although they were surrounded by the Central Powers, Germany, Austria, Hungary, and then they were occupied by those Central Powers. Now, Romania has a lot of oil, and for a long time, it doesn't matter which side you were on, everyone fought over Romania's oil. All of this is totally a story for a different day, but Romania during the 30s and the lead up to World War II is extremely complex. All I want to convey here is that before the war, they had a monarch that abdicated his crown, an SS stooge or plant took it over for a while, and they lived under a military dictatorship that was basically a Nazi government, and Romania was on the side of the Axis powers because of their oil. Also, because of their oil, Romania was bombed relentlessly by the Allied powers. The Romanian people, though, rose up and deposed their Nazi leader and switched sides and fought against the Axis powers with the Soviets, who are now showing up in Romania.
So,
wow.
that sounds absolutely nothing like Afghanistan and Russia.
I feel like you just told us a 4-part episode right then.
Yes, exactly, yes. Again, it's all insanely fascinating, and again, story for a different day, but you should understand kind of what's going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're covered in oil, and everybody's got a paper towel, wants to blot it off, and, things shake out in kind of a flipsy-dipsy way. Got it. All right.
Yes.
Yep.
To the people in Romania, being pretty much occupied by the Nazis didn't sit well domestically. So a lot of people flocked to the communist cause. And one of their strongest leaders by this point was Gheorghe Gheorghiu. Now, Nicolae had become one of Dej's enforcers, violently advocating among party leaders for his ascension to power and forcing people to go and actively participate in Dej's, he had these self-criticism sessions, and you would have to go and you would have to participate in these sessions.
Oh, like
What does
Scientology.
that entail?
You'd be like, well, here's how you could improve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like the road, you know, the road paved to hell is kind of in good intentions.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, because you told me all these things you need to work on, now I know everything that's wrong with you and that you're embarrassed about. I'm going to leverage that to use it against you on your birthday. And, you know.
So, yeah, they were like proto-Scientologists in that sort of regard.
Yeah.
I think that kind of manipulation has been around for a long time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But you said that Nicolae became an enforcer and was very violent.
Yeah. To like force people to go and participate.
I'm going out on a limb here and say that a lot of that violent tendency he learned that from his father and he excelled at that because he had a Grand Master to teach him.
Yeah. And yeah, he was a fighter. He was like a street tough, you know. Again, he was arrested for street fighting.
Right.
You know.
Well, I knew all those combo moves from dodging his father all those times.
Yeah.
Yes. Quarter circle back to do a hurricane kick, baby.
Yep.
So when the Soviets did come into Romania, the newly emboldened Communist Party was there to welcome them. Gheorghe Dej became the first communist leader of Romania, and Nicolae Ceausescu became one of his fiercest lieutenants. Now, Nicolae admonished the junior members of the Romanian Communist Party, and at the same time sucked up to the senior members as well.
What an ass kiss.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like that Mac line. It's like, you see, I'm playing both sides, so no matter who wins, I'm coming out on top.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like wouldn't he be kind of buttering the juniors and the seniors' bread if that's what he was doing? Instead, he's just being a dick to the people beneath him and kissing ass to the people above him. I feel like he's literally like burning the ground behind him.
Well, if you'd seen that episode,
Oh, yeah.
and I know you have, Mac, it doesn't work for him either.
No, Nicolae's issue here is that it dawned upon him that he has become a middle manager.
That is the definition of middle management.
Yes.
Well, that's like the way all Soviet, you know, all of Soviet Russia and all Soviet satellite states kind of worked. Everybody was kind of a middle manager.
Yeah, in Soviet Russia, shit rolls downhill. There's no joke. There's no joke there.
In the middle of the hill.
It's like a Sisyphus situation about which direction shit is rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He would go on to serve in several important positions in the party. You know, he was head of the military for a while. He was head of agriculture. But Nicolae's ambitious nature wasn't lost on Dej either, who thought that maybe it may have been a misstep to keep this Nicolae in the fold. Like, he saw the fact that he was using people to get a leg up, you know, and that's what he was doing. He was using people to climb the social ladder.
I mean, as long as he's, like, using them all the same, isn't he still being a communist?
See, I feel like he really should have embraced capitalism, because I feel like they love you if you do that.
Yeah, they'd be like, this guy's a go-getter.
You're like, I took advantage of everybody, I didn't pay taxes,
Yeah.
He really pulled himself by his bootstraps.
I also have a rich daddy.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Yeah, because that's the one thing you need that Nicolae's missing. So when Dej died of lung cancer on March 19th, 1965, Nicolae had maneuvered himself to be near the top of the heap of who would be his successor. But due to infighting among the party, Ceausescu was elected as a compromise on March 22nd, 1965, just 3 days after Dej's death.
I feel like there's a long story there.
Yeah.
How many people died in that compromise?
Honestly, probably not anybody until Ceausescu took power.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
It's one of those situations where, like, we're in now where it's like, they could be like, hey, you know what? Why don't we not elect Trump or Biden, and we just get this next fucking asshole?
We get somebody else. We do a do-over.
Ceausescu's
That's what we need is a duo.
The last thing all those guys would hear after the election was, "I'm glad you guys were able to see things my way."
Right.
It's like, well, thank you, sir. Wait a second. No.
Right.
Well, at first, Ceausescu was popular among everybody, including the Romanian people. He had a nationalistic bend to him, and one that was really welcomed by the Romanian people. And it's not difficult to see why. You know, I mean, think about it. They had a monarch. They didn't have a monarch. Then they had another monarch. Then they had an SS officer in a military dictatorship. Then a different monarch. Then all of these things. You had the Soviets from this side. You had the West from this side. Both sides have kicked your ass at some point in this whole scenario. You know, you don't really like anybody. You know.
Yeah. You date an older guy, then you date a bad boy. He is too much of a bad boy. Then you find this cool new bad boy. He's got fingerless gloves. He's into communism, and he's going to teach you how to read. You know what I mean? So, and I know you told yourself as Romania that you're not ready for another relationship just yet, but you decided to give him a chance because he's persistent.
They welcomed that nationalistic bend. Like, maybe let's take care of Romania for a change. You know?
Romania first.
Make Romania great again.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, so the name of the party was now changed from the Romanian Workers' Party to the Communist Party of Romania.
There you go.
Which is great. And it was declared a socialist republic instead of the People's Republic. Now, what this was doing, this doesn't sound like it's any difference, and there really isn't. All it's doing is separating Romania from Soviet Russia, saying we might be a satellite country of Soviet Russia, but we are not them, right? We are independent. We are our own country.
We got our own thing going on.
Yeah.
Right.
We got our own comedian, and he's like, in socialist Romania, a car drives you, and they're like, see, he's a completely different guy.
And of course, Ceausescu also consolidated power and made himself the sole head of the state.
Oh, that's a solid move. If you can do it, I suggest doing it as a leader.
Yeah, if you want to be a dictator, that's for sure.
Nobody's going to target you specifically when there's a bit of a social outrage.
Like most dictators, though, his rule of Romania consisted of less than savory policies.
Oh, wild.
Ceausescu eased the Soviet restrictions on the press in Romania, outwardly defying their authority. But what it actually was, though, was a replacement of Soviet propaganda with his own brand of nationalistic propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's like that line in Futurama where it's like, the tyranny of the old king is gone. Let a whole new wave of tyranny come to the land.
Exactly.
Right.
It's the pharaoh one, when Bender becomes a pharaoh.
He's like, get all the posters, cross out communism, put me.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Can I also have a gold toilet?
Oh, and he did. He had a whole gold room, too.
Nice.
And I am talking about Ceausescu right now. Not someone else.
Did he at least tell people that he had a regular bathroom? He's like, I'm just the same as you guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the chemical composition is slightly different.
Yeah.
You know?
Do we know if Ceausescu enjoyed golden showers?
Of course he did.
Did he have a golden shower?
Well, there were actually rumors that Nicolae may have been a homosexual.
It's not quite the same
that
thing.
doesn't answer whether or not he got a golden shower.
No, I'm just saying that,
One woman his whole life? I don't buy it.
Well,
0 women his whole life.
it
You know
made
what I
me
mean?
think. It made me think of like rumors that went around about him.
Sexual rumors.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that he had an
did-
egg-shaped penis.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
and that he raped a 13-year-old with Donald Trump. I'm just saying that he's the same thing as Jeffrey Epstein.
So in 1966, to boost Romania's population, at least that's what he said, Ceausescu outlawed abortion and all forms of birth control. Does not sound familiar at all.
We're gonna
Does
get
it?
those
I
numbers up. Get
thought
those
you were
kids in
going to
war.
say that he had to do it with all the women to increase the population, and I was like, oh, we're going a different way with this like sexual proclivities thing. But
No.
that's weird.
Yeah. In propaganda, it was proclaimed that mothers who gave birth to at least 10 children were called heroine mothers, and that more women should strive to achieve this status.
I don't know if moms should be like Kurt Cobain. Personally.
He's like, one thing about me is I love kids. I love kids so much. I want to see nothing but kids. Turns out I have the same sense of humor as Eva Armentrout.
Turns out, also would put a shotgun in my mouth if I had 10 kids.
Oh, yeah. It's because, like, everyone was leaving Romania.
Yeah.
You know?
It sounds like it sucks.
It's been
But
devastating.
then it
You know?
sucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's
Romanian
like,
listeners.
Dad thought he was badass abusing 10 kids. I'm going to abuse all the kids in Romania. First, I just got to have them make more kids.
Oh, you wait, because that's what happened.
I'm gonna beat this kid up.
It shouldn't come as a surprise that homosexuality was also criminalized, punishable for up to 5 years in prison.
And
He
you
was
know who your-
definitely gay.
you know who your cellmate was? Ceausescu.
Yeah, right. Divorce was only granted by the government in rare circumstances.
Yeah, and wife beating certainly wasn't one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the guy in the divorce court, the husband would have to be like, have you met my wife? And then he'd have to do a type 5 about how they don't get along. And if he made the judges laugh, the divorce would be allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Now, this caused a lot of unintended consequences, not surprisingly. But abandoned children were the biggest, and they filled these inhumane orphanages, causing a national humanitarian crisis. You've all seen pictures of the Romanian orphanages, right? Of, like, children tied to bed and in cribs for 13 years, never
No,
moved.
I have not.
It is one of the most
It's
tragic
horrific.
things you will ever see.
Fuck. Right off.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
wallpaper
horrible.
on my phone.
Jesus.
Because he's
It's-
into it because he needs to stay focused.
Yeah,
you know?
it makes
the
me realize
evils.
how good I got it.
Yeah.
And they weren't orphans. Like, their parents were still out and about. You know what I mean? Which is...
They just didn't want that many kids.
Tragic. Yeah. They
That's-
couldn't afford to pay for them.
It's so like really weird coincidence when you outlaw abortion and birth control that it causes a whole bunch of problems down the road, like crime, abandoned children. It's weird how that
Humanitarian.
happens.
Yeah, and
Right.
a big humanitarian crisis, yes. The Romani people were, at best, neglected by the Ceausescu regime, forcing many Romani communities to live in abject poverty at the very bottom of the social stratosphere. And they became, of course, focus for hate crimes, extending still into the modern day. Like, a lot of this stuff hasn't totally gone away.
The Romani, that's not the same as the Romani gypsies, is
Yes,
it?
it is.
It is,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
It
Same
is.
thing.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. And gypsy, by the way, is an offensive term, and we're only using it to clarify who they are. But it's an offensive term.
Right. Yeah.
When you're using that term, that is the Romani people who we're talking about.
Yes, the Romani people. Yes.
Sure. I thought that they had their own flag. I thought that
They
that
do.
that they also didn't really have a country because they were traveling nomads and they...
You're right. You're absolutely right. But the thing is that they live within the borders of real countries. Because as we know, there isn't a place on Earth that isn't a country. So they do inhabit a lot of countries of the Middle East and Europe and, India and whatnot. And they do have their very own unique culture. They have one of the oldest languages on planet Earth, although it's still unwritten. It's absolutely fascinating. And yes, they are always treated like shit by everybody.
Yeah.
I was just confused because I thought Romani was referring...
To the Romanian people?
To Romanian people, exactly.
No, there is a big... there's a difference.
Yes. I see that now. I'm a dumbass.
No, it's okay. I suppose clarification was good there. Now, if anyone spoke out against Ceausescu's regime, his secret police force, the Securitate, arrested them and sent them to prisons and mental institutions.
Institutionates.
Yeah. Now, surveillance of the Romanian people didn't just extend to the public sphere, but also in the private homes of the citizens. Like, they would leave, straight-up microphones and cameras inside people's houses. And, to this day, people still, even check under their pillow for microphones. They're still... Through all of this, the Romanian people are still very much scarred by all of this.
I wonder what it's like to have a running microphone in your home at all times. Hold on, I gotta check my phone. I got a text message.
Yeah, Google Home
As
here.
a joke.
Yeah.
Alexa.
Turn off microphones.
Right. It is estimated that 1 in 4 people in Romania were at some point paid to be an informant and inform on their friends and family and neighbors.
If everybody's a spy, then who's not a spy? Everyone's just spying on each other.
Everyone knows what's going on. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah. Dude, guys, I would inform on you guys so fast.
It says on your LinkedIn you were a spy for the government. So you're 1 in 4.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's those 4... So that's 1 in 4, right? So now we have 3 left over. The other 2 are the people that were beaten within an inch of their life for the information, and then probably tossed in prison or executed. Yeah. And then there's that 1 that may not have said anything.
So here's what it would be. I would be an informer. Tyler and Zach were beaten and thrown in jail. Jerry... I'll give it to you.
I don't know, man. You break enough of my fingers, I might tell you anything. Even if it's not true.
Realistically, I think the last person to squeal would be Zach, and that is a compliment.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Oh. I'd fold so fast. Just, I don't know, offer me...
You have no idea what I have already told the government about you guys.
Wait, what? Watch out for these guys, because with their skill set... You're going to be paying out their welfare soon.
Donald Trump thinks you guys are a lot more threatening than you actually are.
Yeah,
right? When he gets reelected, I'm going to be looking pretty good, you know?
Well, you'll be looking pretty good as long as you're standing next to him.
Most people do.
Is that punching down?
Yeah, it is.
He's the fucking president. You can't punch down.
Have you seen the guy?
Have you seen him? Yeah, listen to him. Still, though, in 1968, Ceausescu was still relatively popular. Ceausescu exerted Romanian independence by criticizing the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia, and he distanced himself and Romania from the Soviet satellite countries of the Warsaw Pact. Do you guys know what the Warsaw Pact is?
I do. But
no follow-up questions, please.
For those of you that don't know, the Warsaw Pact is basically Soviet Russia's answer to NATO. Mm-hmm. So all these Soviet satellite states, it's like their NATO.
They're in the
Okay.
mix.
It's the Warsaw Pact.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of, Romania kind of distanced themselves from that and Soviet Russia. And this made Ceausescu extremely popular in the West.
Oh.
Richard Nixon became the
tricky.
first U.S. president to visit Romania because of Ceausescu's thumbing his nose at Soviet Russia, and almost signaling Nicolae and Elena to travel the rest of the world. And they were going to meet all the other prestigious leaders of state, like Queen Elizabeth, Chairman Mao, Kim Il-sung, Indira Gandhi, and so many others.
All great
Pretty
guys.
much everybody.
They're putting together a team.
There was also Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter, because again, he ruled for a very long time.
The other
Right.
team can have Gerald Ford.
I want Nixon. It's a real Suicide Squad.
They attended the Olympics and other high-profile international events, and they really put Romania firmly on the world stage. And honestly, if it's one positive thing anyone can say about Ceausescu, is that that's what he did. Everybody saw Romania, everybody was paying attention to Romania, and they were in view. People could see them.
It's like Germany in the early 30s.
Germany was always a thing, though.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like somebody, from Estonia becoming this big world leader, and everybody meeting him, and everybody would know him. Whereas for the last however many years, we haven't even talked about Estonia, right? I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying
Maybe we should.
I mean,
Estonia has that island with all the dancing, right?
Ibiza?
Yeah.
I thought that was in like Spain or something like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, like
I thought that was like Israel.
I don't exactly know what you're talking about. So
there's a rave island. There's just it's a constant rave island, and it's called Ibiza. And you always know that a DJ is an extra douchebag if he has a song and it says Ibiza mix.
Island in the Mediterranean
Oh, yeah.
Sea.
Okay, yeah.
well, that's nowhere near Romania.
I think the issue with Romania is that they don't have like a signature dish that I can get behind. That's the reason why I don't know much. You're like, I'm going to Romania. What's good? And they're like, there's a pizza place down around the corner. You know
I'm
what
sure
I mean?
if you
Like,
heard a
what do they
Romanian
got?
dish, you'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. It's like Hungary's goulash.
Yeah.
If I asked you
No.
what is Hungary got, you'd have nothing, but I say goulash and you know it.
Yeah.
My parents made up goulash, man. Don't fuck with me.
Now, in the 1970s, Ceausescu began an ambitious building campaign to modernize Romanian industry by taking out these giant loans from his newfound friends in the West.
Oh.
Also doesn't sound familiar, right? Like opening up a line of credit with the Western banks and them being like, oh, we'll give you all the money you want if you're going to keep thumbing your nose at the Soviets.
Oh, those guys in the West, I don't know about them.
Yeah. Sounds like they take advantage of already bad situations.
Yeah.
This just feels
To make
like
money.
me asking for loans so that I can go to college to then get all the money out there in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, he wanted to build oil refineries to compete on the world stage with the largest oil-producing countries on the planet. But by the 1980s, when these oil refineries were finally finished, the price of oil had already tanked, and the refineries sat empty.
Well, the market had already moved to cocaine by then, so they're like,
And action movies.
yeah. So Ceausescu was like, so do we have any cocaine in the ground? How do you make this stuff?
Yeah. Well, it took them a long time to build these refineries, and when they were finally finished, like there was a massive gas shortage. Again, story for a different day. Sure, a lot of people here lived through that. My parents did. That shows you how young my parents are, how young I am.
You're a baby.
I'm 30.
Well, and to Chris's point, I'd like to think that Romania hard up for cash were like, hey, did Rocky hear about the newest bad guy boxer in town?
Right, yeah.
Romanian Jack? He hates the ideals of the West and is very handsome.
But he's sort of nice to the West.
Yeah.
Now, Ceausescu did have a good thing going with the oil trade deal he made with the Shah of Iran. But, as we all know, the Shah of Iran was deposed, and that deal was over. So they couldn't even buy cheaper oil, move it in, and just refine it, and then sell it. They couldn't even do that. So these things were almost useless.
Yeah.
Right. I mean...
How much do you think they cost to make?
Once the Shah fell,
Billions of
yeah.
dollars.
Well, once the Shah fell, people who had money in the fucking Iranian banks never got to see that money ever again.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, because there's all of these loans and he owes all of this money and all of his investments basically failed, that basically devalues the Roman currency by a lot. And you find yourself in a self-imposed economic depression because of this.
They're going to break your legs.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny with that, we need to get on the new hot thing, and it's going to take 10 years for us to build this thing to get us on the new hot thing.
Well, it was never a new hot thing, because it was oil.
Yeah.
First off. Second off, I don't think they knew how long it was going to take to build. You know what I mean? And there were also it was hiccups that happened.
Yeah. Oil took a fucking shit dive in that time.
Yeah.
It was the worst time to have new oil refineries, really. It was not a worse time.
Yeah, it was the worst time. But after visiting all of those foreign dignitaries, in particular Mao's China and Kim Il-sung's North Korea, Ceausescu witnessed the power of their propaganda machines that built their cult of personalities. And Nicolae and Elena wanted in. So Ceausescu's propaganda reached every level of society. He put it everywhere. He would have wrinkles taken out of his photographs so he looked all youthful and clean. He wanted to only be filmed from the left side because of the blotchy skin on the right side of his face because he was an alcoholic.
Like father, like son.
Yeah.
He had himself and Elena clumsily pasted into photos from events that they did not attend.
This is before Photoshop.
It is. And there's video of people actually taking the original photo that the people worked on, and there's literally little pictures of them that they cut out with a hobby knife and then glued on and then put in a copier.
Did he do Pepsi commercials? Because I feel like that would be what he used to do at the time. It's the 80s, man. Crystal Pepsi, new Coke.
It's way everybody in the crowd's looking one way, and then there's Nicolae and Elena standing next to each other looking directly at the camera.
Yeah.
It's so clear that they've been pasted there.
And Michael Jackson's with him for some reason.
But he's like a kid Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's proportionately larger than they are.
So their propaganda was old-timey Newgrounds Flash videos. Is what
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Big
only...
time.
Yeah, no computers.
And it definitely didn't help that he had wrinkles removed from photos that he was in, and then he had them put those wrinkles onto regular people's photos. Completely at risk. So you got a beautiful leader who's always looking right at the camera, no matter where the angle is, and then all these wrinkly children.
These wrinkly ass children.
Yeah,
Soviet children.
Full of just wrinkly Soviet children.
Yeah. So his stammer was also edited out of filmed appearances, which was really frustrating for people that worked at the news station and like the offices. Like there's interviews that exist that they're like,
just edit out my stammer.
Yeah.
Just edit it out.
Can't do it.
Dude,
like, you have to say it right at least once for me to edit it out. Otherwise it sounds weird.
He has a 2-hour speech that after they get to it, he's just like, "Hey everyone, I'm Nicolae Ceausescu. Good night, everyone."
Yeah. Well, that's not far off, honestly.
What's crazy to me, like, I made the joke that he was a proto fucking Flash video person from Newgrounds, and now he's also a proto YouTube fucking commentary guy with the jump cuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? He would have been a great influencer, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's kind of what he's doing. Only everybody must be influenced.
You must be influenced by the party.
Naturally.
Yeah. Now, it was a big part of Romanian life to take part in these giant, choreographed, live performances during Ceausescu's reign. And it would take place in these newly built stadiums. And what you do is you were commanded by the party to, you and all your coworkers would go out, and then you would all learn a dance routine, and then over a couple of months, and then you would go to the stadium, you'd practice it a couple of times with everybody, and then you'd do your rehearsal, and then Ceausescu would show up and you do the real thing where everyone would get dressed up, and they'd hold up the cards and everything like you see in North Korea, and Ceausescu would clap. Because
it's like, everybody dance for me.
Yeah, it's not for everyone else. Like, the whole stadium is there performing for him, pretty much.
It's like Donald Trump's military parades.
Right.
I was really, really hoping that you were going to say that they did the dance, and then at the end, him, Paula Abdul, and Randy Jackson would tell them what they need to work on if they want to be, Romania's next top. Yeah, and by the way,
if you want to
I know those haven't been the judges on that show since, 2001, but I don't care because that's when I stopped hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped after season 1, I think.
I guarantee that all of those original judges are skeletons by now.
And dead. Yeah.
Yeah, who's heard of Simon Cowell in 2020?
That's a good point. What happened to him?
He's on hospice, man. He's hooked up to some machines, man. One foot in the grave.
He's in an iron lung.
Yeah, just like he always wanted. He's just the music version of Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay is objectively better.
Yeah.
Tyler likes Gordon Ramsay, and we all know it.
I do.
I like
agree.
Gordon Ramsay.
He's an angry little British guy who's really good at cooking.
He's really nice to kids, which is cool.
I think he's genuinely a good guy.
He's only really mean if you call yourself a chef and then you fucking fumble around like a dipshit. Because he's like, you call yourself the same thing as me, and I find that incredibly insulting.
That's kind of badass.
Yeah. Allow me to tell you what's up. I will say that I think that he did ride the wave in the early 2000s. There's this thing where it was like, look at this mean British person.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't this so, Simon Cowell, Gordon Ramsay, the mean British lady from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There's all these mean British ladies.
Wait, do you mean The Weakest Link?
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
The Weakest Link.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. That lady.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I knew
For a while
meant.
there, we loved mean English people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
because they're always the bad guys.
We
still did. Remember Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Our favorite character was the mean English guy.
Yeah.
I was saying the mean English woman played by Emma Watson, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So okay, so there's these fucking stadiums filled with the Romanian people dancing to two toddlers. I mean the 2 leaders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
To the 2 toddlers. Who run a
Two
shit.
toddlers.
Yeah.
Yes. Dance monkey dance.
And at some point, everyone would turn to them, and it was almost like it was like a performance for them, and then they would do their performance for the crowd, in that they would stand up and clap, and everyone was like, "Hope we did a good job,"
Do you think he was ever like, you guys fucked it up?
No.
All of you going down.
But 2 months didn't go by without one of these things. I'm serious. Like, this happened almost every other month. Or every month, you know?
Well, if he's always going to clap, they're never going to get better at it.
He's like,
Right.
the king of Berlin talked shit about me. I need you guys to make me feel better.
I guess the choreography wasn't that complicated either.
It couldn't be.
It was like people like touching their toes and like coming up, you know. But like when you have like thousands of people doing very basic choreography, you can like kind of make it look pretty dope.
So it's not first row Thriller, it's fourth row Thriller.
It's like
this is your left.
It's like
that's
nosebleeds Thriller.
This is your right. You're gonna die. Socrates and Hunger Force.
I know.
I'm telling the audience who doesn't.
I know. Ceausescu's ego knew no bounds. He loved hunting boar, for example, but was a terrible shot. So he paid people to shoot the boar for him, so he could win the day with having the most boars shot.
It's like Trump at golf.
Yeah. Again, does not sound fucking familiar at all, does it? There was one story that I ran across of someone who was close to him, and they said that, like, you know, like, I play tennis. I'm decent at playing tennis, and Ceausescu had never picked up a tennis racket in his life. And he's like, all right, you teach me how to play. So he, like, tosses him a couple of easy balls, you know, and after, like, a couple of them, Ceausescu goes, all right, enough of this fooling around. I'm going to beat you now. And he's like, how could you possibly beat me? You just now picked up a tennis racket. You know what I mean? But that's, I guess, how he was. You know? He had to win.
He snapped his fingers and 4 guys came in, broke that guy's legs and wrists, and then he was like, okay, it's time for the next round.
Your serve.
Right, yeah. You would have to let him win, you know? Elena, too, also wanted to play a bigger role in Romania. She took Romania's best scientists and chemists and physicians and signed her own name to their lives' work.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
With
I mean, a lot of this
respect,
other stuff's fucked, but
Yeah.
that's just
Nicolae just taught her how to write. I mean,
She can sign her name. She
yeah.
can sign her name.
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool physics. Tell them I did that.
Yeah, that's what
That
she
was-
was doing.
That was me. You tell them I did.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
well, or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
She had a whole emotional roller coaster where she had just learned to write, just learned to read, then for a moment looked at her last name, thought she was dyslexic, realized that that's actually how it's spelled. So like, can you really blame her, you know,
You talking about Melania Trump?
No, I'm talking about Ceausescu's wife, but probably the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, where's Melania Trump from?
Slovenia.
Okay.
Slovenia. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit where she's from.
Yeah. To all of our Slovenian listeners out there,
Yeah, we're sorry. We're sorry.
There's
that
some
you have-
Romanian listeners, though. Outwardly, this meant Elena was some sort of dynamo scientist with expertise in nearly every field of study, which is something that is nearly unheard of.
Especially with somebody who used to be semi-illiterate not that long ago.
She's still semi-illiterate.
I don't need to read to know how to do science, bro.
She can sign her name. She can do that. And she used to say even, quote, "You write and I'll sign."
Nice.
For this reason, she enjoyed many honorary accolades, as well as claims on patents for inventions that she did not invent.
I would invent so many shitty things and be like, it makes drinkable water out of urine.
You know what? I will say one thing that this group of people have over the Trump administration is that they actually believe in science.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Hey.
actually
True.
Yeah. Elena also enjoyed a position of power within the party, sometimes even running the entire government. while her husband was away. Yeah, she actually served in higher levels of government. So they kind of served together, as husband and wife during this.
The most costly part of that is hiring people every time that he left town to look at her and go, and now I've seen everything.
After an earthquake in 1977, 40,000 people were displaced to make room for the Ceausescu's new palatial 3,930,000 square foot palace in Bucharest.
It's not that big. It's about the size of my house.
Well, seeing as it was made by a man, it was probably actually half that size.
Nice.
Hey.
Hold on, Jerry. So there was an earthquake.
Yes.
And people were forced out of their homes, and they were like...
there's no more homes. Why clean it up? So they bulldozed it.
Yeah.
And then they just built a palace on top.
Why waste all this space that your homes are destroyed in? I'm going to build a giant palace.
Yeah, on top of that.
That's fucked.
Or...
Yeah.
Take a journey with me, guys.
Okay.
It's a 2-word journey, and those 2 words are earthquake machine.
Is this the James Bond villain era? You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. It is kind of tail end of the Cold War.
That's what I'm talking about. That's when all the earthquake machines and people with like razor sharp teeth came out.
Blotting out the
laser
sun
guns.
and stuff.
Lasers
on the moon.
You can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody with a death ray.
The palace is the world's 3rd largest by volume after the Aztec pyramid of Teotihuacan and the Cape Canaveral rocket assembly hangar. It uses 220,000 square meters of carpet, 3,500 tons of crystal, and 1 million cubic meters of marble. The carpet in the main Union Hall alone weighs 1.5 tons.
Ooh.
God,
This place is huge.
We get it. You've seen Scarface. You were jealous.
I think Scarface might have been based on this guy.
Yeah.
You can do a tour. You can do a tour of the place. It's
still there.
absolutely amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
There's people that went in 1994 and still haven't come out.
That just sounds like a nightmare to vacuum.
It's a lot of carpet.
That's a lot of carpet. It's like that vintage porn, just too much carpet.
It's coming back, man.
Hey man, one man's too much carpet is another man's just enough carpet.
Like I said, it's coming back, man.
GIC, man.
Now, Nicolae also threatened on multiple times to bulldoze other areas of Romania to make way for other projects as well. Like, people are like, oh, God, I just moved out of there. Thank God he's not going to bulldoze this area. And then he's like, I might bulldoze that area over there so I can build whatever the fuck I want over there.
I know I got a good base here, but I'm thinking about a west wing that's about the same size.
If you see pictures of it, it covers like 3 blocks. Like these giant, like 3 blocks wide, and then like I would say like probably another 3 blocks in the other direction.
So there was an earthquake.
It's absolutely massive.
And this guy made lemonade out of lemons, is what I'm saying.
I think he used it as an excuse.
Well, I mean, it
Yeah.
was the 80s, and he was like, shopping malls are really cool. What if I lived in a shopping mall that was also a mansion?
It's the 80s. Ideas based on cocaine are really cool.
I don't know what shopping malls you've been going to, but none of them are as immaculate as this. Like this.
I'm just talking about square footage here.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure that palatial estate had a Foot Locker and an Orange Julius. Quote me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. What's that cookie
would hope
place?
so.
The
Auntie Anne's?
Yeah.
yeah.
Cinnabon. It has a Cinnabon in there.
Yeah.
They still have those? I haven't been to a mall in forever.
I haven't been to a mall in a long time.
Every time I think
As long as it's got a Wetzel's Pretzels, I'll be happy.
Ooh.
Strangely enough, my only memory of a Wetzel's Pretzels is there was one in the mall by my house growing up, and during Christmas time they had to hire a bunch of extra people to give out samples, and there was this dude he looked like Killer Bob from Twin Peaks, but one of his eyes was like deflated, and he had the tray full of pretzels, and nobody would take any. And I thought,
That's scary.
yeah, he looked so menacing.
Poor guy.
And he was like, pretzels!
I feel bad for this guy.
I feel bad for him.
Okay, then you
not
go
his
up
fault.
and take a pretzel then, Chris. If you feel so bad, you go take a pretzel
I will.
sample from that guy.
I got no problem taking
is he?
a pretzel from a
I'll
guy
take a
with a
pretzel
weird
from him
eye.
right now.
In theory, it's so easy.
You're also a kid. I feel like, were you a kid as a kid?
Yeah, I was like
would've died.
17.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like,
As a
full-grown man.
36-year-old man, that's the first guy I'd go to. Because he's the guy I relate to the most.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a
He's
certain
the guy
amount of
that you go
madness
drinking
as
after his shift.
I see you as well have
He's
been through
drinking
some
before his shift.
shit. Yeah, probably.
Although he spent lavishly on himself and Elena, Ceausescu had now realized that his massive loans had devalued the entire Romanian financial system.
Oh.
So because of this, he became obsessed with paying off the national debt. And the way he did that was by choking the Romanian people for every scrap of money and resource that could possibly be found.
They owe him at this point. And that dope-ass palace that he made for himself
Yeah.
makes them look good.
Yeah.
It's got an Orange Julius.
Yeah.
And he gets to tell him about how good it is.
I mean, they're not allowed in, but
Yeah.
Well, they
they
don't
get to
have
know
to.
that he gets to go to that Orange Julius.
They don't have enough money to buy an Orange Julius.
Yeah. He's like,
With
if
the
you want to
taxes
know
I'm putting on
about
you.
the FAO Schwartz and the giant piano, I will tell you about the giant piano.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a car in the mall that I pretend you can win.
Yeah,
if you were
exactly. Exactly. I pretend you can win it.
It's in the mall. Somebody had to drive it in there. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's a Prius.
And really quick,
Not even a good car.
for our listeners at home, shopping malls were the place that people went before Amazon. They were really popular in the probably the early '80s through the first part of the 21st century, and then they kind of they
early
Who do you
2000s.
think our listening demographic is? They're people
That's
our
us.
age.
Yeah, that's us. They
A lot of
remember
them had a
malls.
car in there, and you'd be like, you could put in your name to try to win that car.
Oh, yeah.
I would never do that.
You're
It
not
just
gonna
seemed like a
win that
scam.
Dodge Viper. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many of those leaflets you fill out.
Yeah, they're just gonna send you spam and junk mail.
Yeah, that's what it was for. Nobody won
Yeah.
that thing. Who do you
Physical
know who's
junk
won a
mail.
car in the mall?
Well, at the Boise Mall, I swear to God, the same Dodge Viper sat there for years.
It just went around from
It just never. It just
went from
never
store to
moved.
store.
They would just keep polishing it every day to make it look brand new.
Well, and after a while, that '96 Dodge Viper doesn't really look so appealing
Right?
anymore in
Like,
2001.
Yeah, so they moved in a fucking Rav4, and they're like, you could
I know.
you could win a Rav4.
It got to the point where it was like some dumbass fucking SUV.
Yeah,
You want a RAV4?
yeah,
It's like, what happened to the Dodge Viper? Oh, somebody won that.
yeah.
And
Now
that
we
guy's
have a
really cool. He's getting
Yeah.
hella puss.
now we have a brand new pre-owned Sonata. That is a King of the Hill reference.
What happened to the Viper? It got a 13-episode order on NBC.
Yeah. So because of Ceausescu's obsession with paying off the national debt and selling all of his food and literally everything they produced, factories were left cold to conserve oil. Food was totally exported, so no one could have any food. No one had enough money to buy the food that was left. And of course, citywide blackouts became the norm.
North Korea.
Yeah, that's what that's like. Only instead of trying to pay off some national debt, it's like trying to get money to do anything in North Korea.
Right, know? Yeah.
Yeah. That's North Korea, though. That's a little different.
You're all going to have to pay out the nose for this giant palace mall that I made for myself.
Yeah.
No, you cannot go there.
Can we do the Kims someday, Jerry?
Oh, we're going to do the Kims.
I know it's kind of recent history, boys, but like,
so is this. Yeah. We will absolutely do the Kims.
I need to come up with the K-pop theme song then.
Yeah.
We have so much faith in you.
Do a K-pop version of the exact theme we have, but it's K-pop.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do my best.
There were propaganda films produced by Ceausescu and his regime that had him in front of these giant food harvests and bundles of grain to promote how well the economy was doing.
If you tell them the economy's doing well, they'll believe it.
Yeah. I mean, no one was buying it, though. Least of all, the people that put up the displays of food, in quotes. Because a lot of the fruits and vegetables that were present in this film were sculptures of carved wood to look like apples and oranges. And they were painted to look like apples. And they kind of put them up higher. And, like, there's this video footage of Ceausescu walking down these aisles of food, and he like picks one up and inspects it, like, that's a good apple, and like sets it down, and like there's people behind him like biting their nails, like, please don't pick up a wood one. Please don't pick up a wood one. You know?
It was mostly matte paintings anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
They used the special effects wizards at the Romanian branch of ILM to do a little of their work.
Yeah, ILM.
Yeah.
There you go.
Romanian industrial light magic.
A lot of UFOs on strings, fishing wire.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ed Wood style. So because the people of Romania were paid nothing and got nothing, the economy ground to a halt. Radio stations closed, and television stations were only broadcasting on one channel for 2 hours a day. Certainly something we can't imagine at all. And even though the national debt was actually paid off in the summer of 1989, how would that ever make a difference to the Romanian people at that point?
Once you got to live through all that, yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, now we're good. It's like, oh.
Your leader fucked you. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
He fucked you for over a decade.
Yeah.
It's you're literally living to pay off your leader's like gambling debts.
Yeah, and not like gambling debts. Like, it would have been one thing if he only spent that money on the oil refineries that failed, but no, he spent untold amount of money on that palace for himself and his wife and his family of three. 3 children, and it's like, if you see the inside of this place, I don't understand how anyone could live there. It's ridiculously big and grotesque.
In his defense, it had a brand new Foot Locker, and he had some brand new Jordans.
Yeah. He would. I'd imagine him and his wife just stand around and go, I think we should have a party. I feel like we have all this space.
Yeah.
We should have people over. Let's have some people over this Sunday.
And then they're like, wait, people in our home?
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Too paranoid for that. No, thank you. No people. In fact, close all these windows.
Yeah.
And that's like actually like an observation a lot of people make when they go on the tour of that palace. They're like, it's oddly dark in here, and there's
like no
not
windows.
a lot of windows.
I don't need people seeing inside.
Yeah, and like, I guess at a certain time, it was taking up like all the power and heat and everything to heat and power this place. Meanwhile, like the rest of Bucharest is like falling into like blackouts.
They constantly got to keep that Orange Julius machine running, even though there's no employees working there.
Yeah. Around the clock.
Yeah.
You can want one at any time.
Yeah, he just has to go in and run it himself.
Oh, fuck that. He's the leader of the country.
Well, he doesn't have any money to pay anybody. If he wants an Orange Julius at this point. He built the fucking place.
Look, it was just like how we said earlier with the sheep. He remembered his childhood, and he just needed to wheeze the juice. It's full circle.
Yeah.
He needed to suck the sheep, as Chris said.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Honey, I need to go suck the sheep. Walks for a day and a half straight, turns on the light,
Julius.
puts on his Orange Julius apron,
He's
fires it up.
legit. He's like, today I'm an Orange Julius employee, and I am serving my best customer.
Just looking at the blender like, look how far we've come.
Hello, old friend.
Yeah. So during the late 1980s, there had been a Hungarian dissident pastor named sorry, I'm gonna butcher this one for sure. Laszlo Tokes, I believe is how it's pronounced. He helped distribute material that was critical of the Ceausescu regime, and he had staged other demonstrations to speak out against him as well in Transylvania. And as we know from our Vlad the Impaler episode, Transylvania's kind of more Hungary than it is Romania.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, there's always been tensions between the Romanians and Hungarians.
The vampires.
Vampires.
So secretly taped interviews and statements from cabinet officials and Laszlo Tokes were taken to Canada, of all places, and there they were shown to the rest of the world about how horrible Ceausescu's Romania had been.
Oh, I feel like the Canadians feel so bad about that.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm sorry.
Hate to do this.
I'm so sorry.
But
We
you're
love our
an
listeners in
atrocious
Canada.
dictator.
They're a polite people. They're a very nice polite people.
I meant that, yes.
He even had like members of his cabinet, one in particular, defect to America, and I believe he's still alive. He writes anti-communist articles for Breitbart, I believe, to this day.
Whoops.
Wonderful.
Yeah, not seeing the irony in any of this. I'll put it in the show notes or something. I'm not going to look it up right now. Anyway, people were starting to jump ship on Ceausescu. So Ceausescu tried everything to get rid of Tokes, but with no luck. Every time he told him to go somewhere else or, be banished or whatever, he would refuse. Which is great. Yeah, exactly.
Shows how much power he has.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, on December 17th, 1989, in Timișoara, the number of protesters had swelled to include ethnic Romanians as well to protest the regime's hatred for ethnic Hungarians. Because, Tokes, all he was doing was talking out against Ceausescu, and everybody knew, secretly of course, because they didn't want the Securitate to catch them, they were like, yeah, he's right. And this guy's trying to get rid of him, and he's refusing. You know what? We're going to refuse too. So a lot of people joined him. Soon, however, it kind of lost track. The protest kind of lost track, and it turned into a general protest against the government. And the Securitate, along with the army and the just local police, fired on the crowd, killing men, women, and children.
Wait, even the media?
Probably the media as well. There weren't very many members of the media there because the media, you were either secret media or you were state media.
Yeah.
So,
I have two things to say about this.
yeah.
One, it's the day before my wife was born. Two,
Yeah.
I would imagine Donald Trump wished he could use live munitions against the protesters in Lafayette Square.
Yeah.
100%.
None of this sounds familiar at all, does it, guys?
No,
It's
not even a
just-
little.
I've gotten
Not
to a point
even
where,
a little bit.
my, pussyfooting around my hatred of Donald Trump is just like, no, fuck that guy. He's fucking shit up.
Yeah, this episode kind of took a toll on me, just looking at all of these things, like, plain black and white, like, it's just hard to ignore these similarities.
Yeah.
And man, that's depressing. So meanwhile, the insulated and highly paranoid Ceausescu was traveling to sign deals with Iran, like oil deals with Iran, and, meet other world leaders, presumably blissfully unaware of the domestic strife happening at that moment in Romania.
They're like, so, Ceausescu, how are things doing in Romania? Fine. Who told you? Did somebody say something different?
Great. Why?
It's fair. It's fair.
Everything's great. Everybody's getting blowjobs 24 hours a day. Why?
Yeah, someone says something different, will fucking kick their ass.
Yeah. But by this point, the hypochondriac and germophobic Ceausescu had become increasingly paranoid and erratic. Like I said earlier, he kept all his windows shut and the curtains closed at all times. Now this is something I do not understand at all, but he disposed of his own feces himself because he was afraid that other people were radioactive. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't understand.
It feels backwards, but...
Yeah. And
this
of course
guy
he had...
lost his damn mind.
Yeah.
Did he think Toxie was taking care of the poop?
Right?
He's like, I gotta get rid of my poop, and also, I need to go put in my 8 at the Sbarro inside the palace.
Maybe.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought his food was made out of his own feces because that's the most pure substance in the land. And he didn't want radioactive people handling his own feces because when they made it into hamburgers or whatever the fuck that he believed they were doing, it would have been, his own feces would have been radioactive and it would have killed him.
Yeah.
Where normally his feces is the most nutrient-dense food in the world.
So it was just a regular old Salo situation, is what you're saying.
Sure. Well, on the point of his meals, and this is another thing that does not sound familiar at all. He had all of his meals made in a different area and then brought to him because they were terrified of being poisoned.
Yeah.
The Securitate actually had to make his meals and then courier them over to him because of this fear.
They're like, I got this job so I could fucking quell dissidents, not so I could make souffles for this asshole.
The Securitate was his Uber Eats.
Oh,
I don't trust chefs.
No. No.
Well,
I
the
trust
worst part about
national
it,
police, but not chefs.
and like the worst part about it too is that every chef in Romania is skinny, and you can't trust a skinny chef.
Whoa.
Is that true? I've never been to Romania.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's saying because they didn't have any fucking food.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ceausescu got it all.
He's eating his own feces.
Ah.
It's the only source of food. Just recycle it back through over and over and over.
And then you transcend, you live forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what he means by disposing of his own feces.
In the Sbarro.
Nice. So on December 20th, 1989, Ceausescu gave a televised speech where he blamed the events of Timișoara, like where the Securitate and everybody opened fire on the demonstrators, on, quote, interference of foreign forces in Romania's internal affairs and, quote, external aggression on Romania's sovereignty, end quote.
And they used chemical irritants and projectile
bullets. Here they
munitions.
used just AK-47 bullets.
The protesters wandered on to a training field during a live fire exercise, and it was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the training field was a community park.
Yeah, and and the breadth of that and depth of that space is dynamically changing moment to moment.
Now, the tensions didn't stop, though. On December 21st, which is my mom's birthday, it would have been my mom's first birthday with her first son, me.
Oh, you?
Aww.
Yeah. 1989.
My wife would be 3 days old.
Yeah, I would have been a couple of months old. A few months
First son you know about.
There's one in the attic, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Barry Nash is real.
So on December 21st, Ceausescu wanted to have one of his famous rallies to bolster support for himself in Bucharest, and he organized his most loyal supporters in the country to be right up front, holding banners saying, "Glory be, Nicolae Ceausescu."
Could be worse.
And by banners, you mean like riot shields spray painted with Glory Be.
No, I mean big. They did have these giant banners out.
Okay.
Hey, remember how much everybody enjoyed doing that song and dance for me? We need to bring that back now that they hate my guts for fucking up the economy.
Yeah, it goes to show just how out of touch he was with his own people.
I'd imagine he didn't want to hear things that didn't make him sound good, so he fired everybody.
Right.
I was talking about our current president.
Yeah.
Well, official propaganda called it a, quote, spontaneous movement for support of Ceausescu.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening to me right now. Look at this outpouring of support.
Everybody
of people.
loves me.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, all of his last speech on this day is all on YouTube, where like he walks out and like tries to like talk to the audience. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm gonna describe it in the best way I can to you right now. But thousands of people packed the square around the place, and the old and bewildered Ceausescu, he walked out and addressed the crowd, being totally unaware that most of the people that were there hated him. So as he spouted off about these revolutionary ideals and the plight of the socialist worker, he drew jeers and boos from the crowd. He totally miscalculated how they were going to respond to him. He thought they were going to, he was going to calm everybody down by doing this. He was
Perfect.
He was visibly confused and scared as he shouted at the audience to, be quiet and listen.
Please clap.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
At one point, the TV camera goes off the air, and during that time, you can still sort of hear what's going on. And there's another camera that sort of captures it, but people break through, and they're starting to, get inside. And, there's one guy, when it comes back, Ceausescu's what? What's going on? What's going on? And there's, a guy behind him. There's, people running around behind him. And one guy goes, they're inside. And he's
I thought you loved me. I was paying people to tell me that you loved me.
Yeah. So, he's they're, clapping for everything he's saying. Elena's there, too, and, a couple other cabinet members are no, everything's fine.
Yeah. Look, we should head out, though. I got a thing. I got another thing tonight. Double booked.
Well, and when the camera went off the air, too, and everyone started storming it, he was so out of touch that he thought, maybe an earthquake had happened.
Last time an earthquake happened, I got a big-ass palace, so...
Yeah.
So he was pretty stoked on that.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't long before, what they did is, they pushed their way into the buildings, then the Securitate fought them back, and he kind of finished his speech, but later that night, though, the crowd kind of went into open rebellion and then was dispersed violently by the Securitate forces, and they kind of had to go back. But in the morning of December 22nd, Nicolae and Elena forced a helicopter pilot on the roof of the place at gunpoint to fly them out to get the hell away from there.
Jesus.
And they were only seconds ahead of the protesters who were already storming the building. Like, they were straight up in the elevator while they were on the balcony where he had just been hours before.
Oh, they almost had the hanging guy off the side.
He's hitting the closed door.
Yeah.
The closed button. Fuck. The button doesn't do anything. That's a fake button.
Oh my god.
The Securitate would have done a lot better of a job at fighting these guys off if they weren't all trained chefs instead of, trained security.
Well, he didn't trust chefs, so he had to make chefs the Securitate so that he would get good food.
Yeah. And the first one that went, looks like suppressing these dissidents is the new order on the menu. All the rest of them were like, oh man, come on, I wanted to be the guy to say that.
That's cool. He also cocked a shotgun when he said it, so...
Yeah. So know it's good.
And something...
The thing that was... Sorry, Jerry.
It's okay.
One point that I wanted to make real quick. I feel like the Securitate were trained to shoot from Ceausescu himself, so they're all terrible shots.
That's not true. We're going to get to that later.
Oh.
And something that should be clear is that there are a lot of Securitate. It's not like the FBI or something like that. It's like there's a fuck ton of them. There's more Securitate than there is most other government organizations. You know what I mean? There's so many Securitate forces.
He just needs to put everyone in the country on his payroll under his, security, and he'll be fine.
Well, like I said, I mean, 1 in 4 people at some point were bribed to inform on somebody at some point,
Right.
You got 1,000 assholes who don't know how to fire a gun but know how to make a creme brulee. Gotcha.
Well, the Securitate knew how to fire guns, that's for sure. They killed a lot of their own people, for sure. And they thought, as these new leaders, these new people stormed the balcony and were talking about a new revolution and freeing themselves in Romania, the Securitate were like, dude, Ceausescu's a lost cause. Let's just maintain control over the country. And a lot of the party leaders and people in the know just started committing suicide.
Oh God!
Nice.
And seeing that the square had fallen into rebel hands, the Securitate forces, and as they're watching, speeches from the new leaders now, they just viciously and coldly opened fire into the crowd of people. These are thousands of people that are there. They just started shooting indiscriminately into the crowd of people. A lot of people died just in the first volley of bullets that happened. Absolutely awful what happened. Yeah.
We thought that jeans were the only American import to hit that part of the world at the time. But little did we know.
Yeah.
We're out here in Seattle bitching about tear gas.
Yeah, well, yeah, live ammunition rounds. I don't know when it's gonna get. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Now, the Army High Command had refused, to their credit, to fire on their own people, and they switched sides to fight with the revolutionaries against the Securitate.
Cool.
Badass.
Yeah,
Nice.
And at that point, the revolution became real, and There's still unarmed protesters on the ground, hiding behind military tanks that had just shown up, fighting the Securitate forces. And it was really hard to delineate who was on whose side, who's fighting who. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really confusing. People are shooting and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Totally awful. But there's tons of pictures of just normal-ass people that showed up in support of this, hiding behind tanks, trying to not get shot, while that tank is totally firing, other people.
I mean, these guys are starving. They should have no problem going shirts and skins. They probably look great without a shirt on.
Jesus. Fuck.
Fuck, dude.
That's fucked up. God damn. So meanwhile, in the helicopter, the pilot that was flying Nicolae and Elena, he feigned engine trouble, like, I gotta land. But they were actually ordered to land by the military. And so he landed near Targovishta. You guys remember Targovishta, right?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where the Ceausescus were taken into custody by the local police. And it's kind of a crazy story. Like, the guy that actually took him into custody, like, he's driving around with, like, in the back seat of his car, listening to all this shit on the radio. And he's like, I can't believe the Ceausescus are in the back seat of my car right now. And, like, he goes home, like, he doesn't know what the fuck to do with them. He goes home and, like, his family is, like, watching it on, like, you know, listening to it on the radio, like, watching it on TV. And he comes in, he goes, funny story, guys. I have the Ceausescus in the back of my car. And they're like, whatever. Like,
it's like a sitcom.
Yeah, they're like, that's bullshit.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Yeah.
The Ceausescus.
Yeah, and, like, he brought him in. And they're like, oh, no shit, he does have the Ceausescus here. And, like, the whole time, like, they're gonna hand him over to the military. Like, the military coming for him. They're gonna hand him over, you know. And the whole time, I guess, that Ceausescu was, like, there waiting, he was, like, staring at his wristwatch and, like, listening to it, and then, staring and looking at the window. And a lot of people think that, like, he had a transponder, like, some sort of GPS device, early GPS device in his watch, and he was waiting for some sort of rescue from who, we don't know. But he was, like, nervously, you know, walking around the house until the military showed up, and they took Nicolae and Elena in one of their, like, big, like, armored troop carriers.
Do you think that his wristwatch was a gift from, say, the Chinese or the North Koreans, and he was expecting some sort of foreign aid?
I honestly think it was maybe a Soviet thing.
Oh.
You know, that even though he kind of thumbed his nose at the Soviets, he's still kind of like, but you're going to come save me, right? And they were like...
Soviets are watching the Ceausescu light beep, and they're like, he thinks we're going to save him. Fuck that guy.
He's like, if I set it to, like, you know, 3:15, Gorbachev said that his guys will come and save me? Like, I mean, like...
No. I don't know what he thought. Again, we don't really know. But, like, the fact that he kept looking at his watch and, like, listening to it, and then, like, staring out the window, a lot of people think that. But, like, who is gonna come rescue him right now is a ridiculous notion. No one's gonna come rescue you. You're done for.
Y'all can fuck off.
Yeah. So, when they put him in the troop carrier, the members of the new provincial government and the military leaders, they were like, well, what are we gonna do with him? I mean, he has to go on trial. He has to do... We have to do something with him. And they were like, okay, well, shit, drive him around for a while until we figure it out. So they literally drove him around for hours until they figured it out. And what they decided to do is, they were going to execute him. You know? And they'll put him on a sort of a show trial. You know, but they already knew what they were going to do with him.
Yeah, like a mock trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge
Tell me about the rabbits, George.
It's a bit of a night court situation.
Yeah.
Tallest group of sitcom actors of all time, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
What, the entire cast of Night Court?
Yeah, very tall. All of them are like 6 something. All like the average height is the highest height for a sitcom group of all time. That's staying
strange.
In because I edit these.
That's a strange stat.
Yeah, and actually, another crazy
I don't even
fact.
know where you found that.
Welcome to the Night Court podcast, where
I'm glad we got one in.
Brought up Night Court.
Like how the show Night Court is where the reverse apple
show to bring up.
That show was a big hit.
Well, let's talk about Wings next. It's on the same level.
It's true. So on Christmas Day, 1989, the Ceausescus were tried before a very small court of military men and the new provincial government in a very small room. And they were tried with illegal gathering of wealth, and they were charged with genocide as well, while also stripping Elena of any and all scientific accolades.
Well,
she's like, "What? I love molecules."
Oh, dude, when they tell her, because again, the whole thing is on video. When they tell her that, like, oh yeah, you don't have those anymore, she's like, no.
Oh
no,
you stole it from the people who rightfully came up with that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor baby.
And it's so crazy to watch too, because like Ceausescu, he starts the whole thing. He's like laughing, and he's like, "You guys don't have any legitimacy. I'm still legally the president of Romania. Like this court has no legitimacy. This is all stupid." And then they're like, they keep going with it, and like his smile like slowly fades, and it becomes totally real to him in that moment. That like, oh, I am fucked. You know?
There are so many shitty authoritarian leaders that I'd like to see that situation happen to.
I just want to see the fear
There's one guy
in their
specifically
face.
that I would love to see that happen to right now.
I want to see
Yeah.
that fear in his face.
We could find this video on YouTube, correct?
All of that is on YouTube.
We are going to post it.
Yeah, this is considered the first live TV revolution ever.
Fuck yeah.
Because, it was all caught on cameras. But, of course, the Ceausescus were found guilty of these crimes, and they were sentenced to death by firing squad.
And it was a happy Christmas that day.
Yeah.
I feel like events falling on Christmas happen a lot in our episodes.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody wants their New Year's resolution, to have a fresh start, like a fresh government. You take those despotic leaders, you take them out back by the chemical shed, and you put a bullet in their head.
Yeah, work them over the head with a 2x4. You know what I'm saying?
And as that firing squad was like, bearing down to aim on them, they were just like, they were talking to each other and were just like, you know what, I'm really going to do that diet this year.
Yeah.
So a soldier standing guard in the proceedings was ordered to take the Ceausescus out back one by one and shoot them. But the Ceausescus demanded to die together. So the soldiers agreed to this and began to...
Why not?
They began to tie their hands behind their back. And this is actually one of the craziest moments in the video, because as soon as they start tying their hands behind their back, it's like it really becomes real, and they both start freaking out. It's like, even though these are really horrible people, it's like still kind of hard to watch, because like they're like, no, you can't do this, and like they're dragging them out of the room, like with hands tied behind their backs.
Corrupted by their own power.
No, totally, but it's
people.
still like, wow,
Right.
they're going. These are their last moments. They're going to be taken out and shot. I just think it's kind of rare that you see a despotic leader like this in the final moments before he is killed, Yeah. And it's to me, it's just mind-blowing to see. And here's another weird part of this. The wide shots and some of the shots inside of the room, like the courtroom, some of them were faked for TV. So basically the Romanian people wanted proof, right? And so they had to film all of it, but
Sure.
they were already dead, so they had to take these other two actors that were not in the same clothes and look nothing like them. So like there's a few shots where like it's clearly not him and it's clearly not Elena. And there was a lot of conspiracy theories going around whether or not they were still alive after this. But I digress. Anyway, the close-up shots of their two dead bodies were absolutely real.
It's hard to fake that.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Late 80s.
They were literally taken to a wall. Nicolae sang the Internationale as he was taken. They were lined up in front of the wall and literally riddled with bullets. Just boom, 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 like wasted against.
Like
you can see
Mexican
all the
Revolution
holes.
style.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The moment before they pulled the trigger, the firing squad said the smell of Sbarro in the room was nauseating.
Yeah, you can still see the bullet holes today. There's outlines of where their bodies fell. It's pretty morbid, but it's there. You like, and people
history,
take
man.
pride in it. Yeah, and they take pride in it.
Oh.
And so people took those literally a close-up picture of Ceausescu's dead face and printed them on leaflets and distributed them all over the country. And like there's footage of like people they're like underneath like, you know, windshield wipers, and like one guy like just starts spitting on one. It's so crazy, you know, how quickly it all happened.
Yeah.
Well, and in that wall, the squad shot him, and then they wrote "the end" in bullets.
Well, I was just gonna say that everyone in Romania started singing "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead."
Right. Even the people that pulled the trigger to this day are like, I don't even like talking about it because I am still afraid that the Securitate is coming for me. You know? Yeah, to this
Damn.
day, again, like all Romanian people are still scarred by all of this. And it's hard to imagine, you know, sort of living under something as horrible as this.
They grew up with it being that controlling that they're still...
Right, yeah. Their bodies even had to be exhumed to make sure it was them. And that was recently. That was in, like, I believe it was 2016, 2017,
Holy
2018,
shit.
something like that.
Wow.
They exhumed
Wow.
their bodies to make sure it was them. Yeah.
But he was born in 1918.
Well, yeah, they just wanted to make sure that he didn't get away and go to Argentina like people say Hitler
I guess what
did,
Tyler
which
was
is
saying was
bullshit.
more that, like, how
Like, he's
decomposed is that body.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, teeth,
totally gone.
dental
It's
records.
like 100 years
probably.
later.
Well, yeah, like
Dental,
literally,
like
he would have been
DNA.
over 100 years old.
Yeah, DNA. I get it.
Yeah. Just to make sure that, like, what was actually reported on was true.
Because it was hard
Because
to... I mean, even
it's hard to tell. And in fact, capital punishment was actually banned on January 7th, 1990. Basically, like, right after this. Making the Ceausescus the last people to be executed in Romania. Over the rest of the ensuing week, though, the Romanian Revolution continued, and it was a bloodbath, and thousands of people lost their lives. And there's again all of it is all on TV cameras, and the worst thing about it is they show the Romanian people digging these mass graves, and it's awful to look at. It's incredibly sad. There's one particular picture that if you look up Romanian Revolution mass graves, you will probably find. I'm not even really going to describe it to you. It's something that when I saw it, I was not right for a couple of days after it. So
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
if you want to go look it up, look up Romanian Revolution mass graves. It's awful.
Be careful. If you know you're not going to like it, you're not going to like it.
Yeah, it's definitely not something we're going to post.
I remember Jerry, when he was sending us pictures of the characters here, he was like, yeah there's some darker shit that I'm not sending you guys.
Yeah.
Well, and also be prepared to be put on some lists if you Google Romanian mass graves. You know, put that in
Right.
an incognito tab.
Yeah, the government still sees that. They see the porn you're watching. That's why I watch the porn in my normal tab. I want it in my history.
Well, good thing I always put Republican porn into Google.
I would like a man making love to a woman in missionary position.
It's
that the government's like, that's fine.
It's a disgusting 75-year-old man jacked up on Viagra, giving it to a 35-year-old blonde who is also a commentator on Fox News. That's all the porn. She starts out wearing an American flag bikini, but besides that, I mean, it's pretty much regular porn.
They push it aside, and they push his adult American flag diaper aside as well, so he can get in there.
Yeah, and the shit just pours out the side.
That's how you get away with. That's how you make sure the government. They're like, this guy's cool. This guy's cool.
Red-blooded American over here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as I was saying earlier, there was a lot of confusion as to whose side was on whose, and there was fighting everywhere. I'm kind of cutting a lot of this a little short. If you notice, in a lot of the pictures of the ensuing revolution, they all have a Romanian flag with a big hole cut out of it. And the reason why is because that is like the colors of the Romanian flag. What they're doing is they're cutting out the Ceausescu seal. It's like a coat of arms seal that's in the middle, and they're cutting that out. They did that in Hungary as well.
Yeah, I was telling you about when I was in Hungary. I guess it's... I should know more information about it, but we happened to be there in October when they do that. In that certain part of the city, they celebrate the 1956 rebellion, and that's why in a bunch of Hungarian flags in a part of the city have the hole cut out of them. And and my wife saw that when we were in Budapest.
And although the government did change to a representative democracy, some of the same people that were in the Ceausescu government were still running the show. The new president of Romania would be a man named, and I believe I'm pronouncing this correctly, Ion Iliescu. And although, Romania's made a lot of strides in the years after these events, it's not perfect today. Our country is certainly not perfect.
Not like America is.
Yeah, but their success is all despite the havoc that Nicolae and Elena Ceausescu caused on their own countrymen.
So good for them.
Good for them, honestly. They're not perfect, neither are we, but you know what? They're still scarred from this whole thing, and they're moving in.
Donald Trump told me he was perfect, and I believed him. So,
if America's so great, then how come it isn't the number one place where straight-to-Redbox action movies get filmed?
Good point.
That's true.
Good point.
Just saying.
No, so you know what's really crazy to me? I'm just gonna be real for a hot second here.
Please.
But like one of my high school gym teachers was a Romanian guy. He was probably, I would say, in his 40s, roughly, and he wouldn't really talk much about the motherland.
Right.
So like I was very much ignorant as to what the hell was up with Romania and with this guy. I was like, why the fuck is this guy being a weirdo, and how come he's teaching me how to dance in fucking in gym class? This is odd.
Honestly, Zach, that's from what I understand, at least, that's kind of par for the course for a lot of Romanian expats, and really during like the late Ceausescu years and the years afterwards, Romania experienced a heightened level of younger people leaving the country. Again, like not a lot of industry, not a lot of upward mobility. So a staggering amount of people left Romania, and they were a lot like that. They didn't want to talk about what had happened.
Well, and the Arch Deluxe had just come out, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was was stealing all of our hearts on the airwaves. And I think it was just time to get to where the action was at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, but it's just crazy to me though. Like this guy that was a teacher at my high school that people were like kind of confused about, and concerned because of how odd he was perceived, just because he was Romanian and didn't really want to go in depth with where he came from and everything. And now I could definitely understand why.
Right. Yeah.
This high school was in.
This was in Beijing. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah. So
you've a very interesting high school situation.
Yeah. A Romanian expat talking trash about the Ceausescus in Beijing.
Yeah.
Would have been a tenuous thing to do, I think. I think he was probably doing that out of self-preservation.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, they were communists.
They were communists, you know?
Right.
And so I could see why. I could see why he wouldn't do it, you know? He wouldn't talk about it, you know?
Yeah. Right, but you know that look in people's eyes when, like, they've been and seen
that
some
shit?
serious shit?
Yep.
He had that fucking 1,000-yard stare that I was just like, dude, what is going on?
I know that 1,000-yard stare. I've had some friends who I'm not going to say the name, used to drink, don't anymore. They had that 1,000-yard stare when they drank.
Right.
It's a tragedy. But it's a part of the human experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's sort of a pipe dream, but I wish that people were more comfortable in talking about it, just so we, as a global society, could make sense of these things when they rear their ugly head again.
Right.
You know, so we can see it coming again in case, you know.
I mean, that's why we at this show think history is so important, is that, I mean, if you've listened to the show at this point, you get that we feel that ugly head is rearing again right now.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
If you guys don't mind, I kind of like to talk about, I was in D.C., this last weekend for the protests. By coincidence, I was there for my grandfather-in-law's funeral at the Arlington Cemetery, which was fascinating in itself.
Absolutely,
Absolutely, like that's an experience very few people get to
experience
to experience.
Yeah.
To use the same word.
Be amongst the resting corpses of hundreds of men better than you. It has to be a rare experience.
My grandfather-in-law, my wife's grandfather, who passed about a year ago. I'm talking Purple Heart, Silver Star. You know, he's buried in the Arlington Cemetery, and I got to experience that. In the same trip, I got to experience being part of a Black Lives Matter protest. I was protesting in front of the White House. There was a part we're walking down, blocking a freeway last Saturday, listening to them chanting, you know, say her name, Breonna Taylor, say his name, George Floyd, vote him out, Black Lives Matter. It was really fascinating. And I remember when we walked down into that tunnel, into the freeway tunnel, I remember feeling for the first time that I was like, because I mean, I grew up through the George W. Bush administration. I've always kind of, even with Obama, I'm like, we always had Republicans. Like, I've never felt like we were winning. In that moment was the first time I felt like we might be winning. We could do
this cause could actually.
And I think
will actually make a difference, and it has. It has,
and I think beyond that, I mean, I think whether it's Black rights, gay rights, trans, whatever it is, all of this can connect to it, and it's all everybody who is being subjected by just the white normality, the you know.
I wouldn't even call it normality because
that's what they want it to be. They want it to be normal.
I would just say, you know, it's like a lot of things we talk about on this podcast is that there's a group of people that are being
oppressed,
subjugated.
Yeah,
you know, that are viewed differently, and that's not okay.
I don't want to speak for people who have these experiences. As a white person, it was just nice to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm supporting you. You know, I want to hear what you have to say.
To be a body to take up space. You know what I mean?
It felt like since
because I feel
George
like that's
Floyd,
that's what our role is in this. Is to not drown out voices.
My whole life
but
I've
to
been
be
hearing,
present and take up space.
My whole life I've been hearing about black people being killed by the police and being treated unfairly, and my parents, who I love to death, really, really pushed me to be. They pushed non-racism on me. I was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they were like, "Hey, just so you know, there's people of another color. You're not seeing them here." But my parents, who I appreciate to death, they taught me about racism and how fucked up it is.
No matter how much you're taught, and I'm not trying to denigrate anything you're saying here,
No.
but I'm saying, like, no matter how much you're taught or how much you learn, if you're white, you still have white privilege, and you can't get rid of it.
No.
And it's something that you have to acknowledge, and if you can use it in the right way, but it's not, it's not going anywhere, and you can't shed it just, for any sort of reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like it might be important.
No, I agree.
To
I
mention.
think at the end of the day, we need to give certain voices the ability to speak who maybe haven't had that ability.
Well, and also Chris is leaving out the fact that while he was there, they actually did the ceremony where they take the president out of his cage and he sees his shadow, and so we know we're gonna get at least 6 more months of authoritarianism.
Yeah. I mean, I was there just a few days after he, tear gassed and rubber bulleted a group of people in Lafayette Square so that he could stand in front of that fucking church and hold the Bible upside down.
Yeah.
And
hold the Bible.
It's one of the best examples of this guy. He just doesn't get what he's like. These people like religion, right? That's what I'll do. What a fucking moron.
He doesn't believe in anything.
Welcome to the Trump cast, folks.
Yeah, cannot stand him.
Thank you for letting me indulge in that. It was a powerful moment for me to be part of that.
Do
Are
your
we
things.
Yeah, we are the History Boys. Sorry, it got really real at the end there.
There's a reason why we call him Jerry Segways Nash. Because
I can't do it.
Yeah, anyway, we are the History Boys. Thank you guys so much for listening. I am Chris Whedon, History Boy.
I'm Tyler Armentrout. If I was any more of a history boy, I'd probably go blind.
I'm Zach Meck, and now I'm a bit of a hungry history boy.
Oh.
Get some food, man.
And I am Jerry. I am a history boy. Thank you so much for listening. We love our listeners so much. We're starting to get kind of a loyal fan base now. I see them all the time, and it's, oh boy, it really warms my heart. And
try to shake you.
And if you want to be a part of those people, well, you can like and follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can interact with us there. You can send us an email at historyboyspodcast@gmail.com. And also, if you wouldn't mind, leave us a 5-star review, because boy, it helps us, and it's those reviews and those subscribe buttons that really help us out. Anyway, thank you all again. It means a lot to me to put in a lot of work and have you guys listen and enjoy everything we do. So, thank you so much.
Love you, bye!
We had a lot of fun. We'll see you next time.